amazing. I love it. Northern Witch, you've been watching that shit. I know all the whites. Everybody is tuned in because it's an amazing piece of white on white violence. It's white on white violence. It's wild. So anyway, hold on. Let me set up straight here and get myself together because this next story that I have is it's just I'm here to make a case, everybody. There's a lot of different beats of which I'm here to make a case about, and the fallacy of cancel culture is something that I'm going to continue to beat the fucking drum about loud as hell. Do me a favor, engage with the video. Burn it down with Kim Brown Tuesdays, Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, consider channel membership. Follow us different places around the internet at BIDWKB. So the Paris Olympics are on the way. Yup. And as we are seeing, you guys been watching the U.S. qualifying, et cetera, all these amazing blacks and whites, I gotta say, and Asians. Everyone's coming out and representing. Shout out to Simone Biles. Big up to Noah Lyles. Big up to Katie Ledecky, DMV representing. But I want us to go across the pond to the Netherlands. Ah, yes, the Dutch. A colonizer, not the Dutch colonizers don't get their proper disrespect as we give the English, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese say, you know what I'm saying? The Dutch ain't shit. Okay. I know Amsterdam is cute. Y'all like to go over there and smoke up your little hashish, and that's cool. But when it comes to all kinds of things, the Dutch truly are not shit. Hold on, let me get to my doc here. And one example of that has to do with the recent addition to the Dutch national Olympic team. It's been revealed. Will, if you could put up the article for me from the New York Post. And I know you guys are like, Kim, don't you know the New York Post is a rag? It is. To be fair, the New York Times also a rag. And if you don't like the Post, then that's fine. The New York Times also a noted rag. Confirm the story, as have a number of different outlets, because this is documented and clearly on the record. And the headline reads: the child rapist who spent 4 years in prison will play on the Dutch Olympic volleyball team. Ha! Isn't that something? And the quote says, meets all the qualifications. Well, of course he does, because he is what, y'all? A white. And also who, y'all? A man. That's right. If anybody is going to be given some allowances, if there's anybody that's allowed to have a second chance at redemption, it's going to be a white man. Okay. Proof positive here. So the man's name is Steven Vanderslam, 29 years old. And when Steven, 8 years ago, made a trip to the United Kingdom, he did so to make arrangements to meet a 12-year-old girl whom he raped, and was convicted of that rape and was sentenced to 4 years for that rape. And stunningly, not stunningly, did not do anywhere close to that 4 years. And in the period since he was released from prison, which, by the way, there was a lot of accommodations made on his behalf. He was able to do either part or most of his sentence in his home country, not in the country in the offense where the offense was committed. That's so nice, right? That's so nice of them to send him home to do his sentence for his rape conviction. That's incredible. But during the period of his so-called rehabilitation and probation, he was monitored by authorities and given extensive counseling. And the authorities deemed that his chance of recidivism was, quote, nil. Nil. For those that at least pay cursory attention to sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual predators, pattern, frequency. These are things that go into how predators and sexual attackers operate, because it's usually not just the one victim. One victim may come forward to make a complaint, or the person might get caught connected to one victim. But the way these predators operate, they're usually dealing with several, or attempting to groom several, or attempting to arrange multiple meetups with different victims. And although that has not been reported as it is connected to this Dutch Olympian, me with my good common sense, dare I say, a common senseologist, as I like to refer to myself. You can put a doctor in front of that, or maybe put a PhD at the end of that. Yes. What did you get your doctorate in, Kim? Common senseology, nigga. I'm an expert. Make no fucking mistake about it. And if you think for a second that this man only committed this one offense, nope, I don't believe that. That's just the one he was convicted of. But hey, you can't let a sex conviction keep a good white man down, especially one who knows how to bump, set, and spike like this guy does. But I want us to take a look at this package from GBN News. Is it GBN, Damien, or is it just Great British News, GB News? There's nothing great about Britain. I wish y'all need to drop that. It did not. Even when Britain was Great Britain, that bitch was not great at all. So that's a misnomer. We need to work on that. But GB News was on the story with all the loaded contempt that the English are singularly capable of. So anyway, there's a couple more details provided in this package about this Dutch Olympian who, you heard right, is on the Olympic team in spite of being a convicted child rapist. Let's take a look.
Now, a Dutch volleyball player who raped a 12-year-old British girl is set to represent the country at the Paris Olympics. Steven van der Velde was jailed in 2016, but despite the outcry, the Dutch Olympics Committee has defended his selection. Well, I'm joined now by sports broadcaster Chris Scudder to find out more. Chris, this seems like an astonishing story. Here's an individual who raped a 12-year-old British girl when he was 19. How on earth should he be allowed to compete at the Olympics with a criminal record like that?
Yeah, shocking case. Major morality issues here, Martin. I guess it's where you stand on should an offender be allowed to a second chance after being found guilty and being punished. Is there room for reintegration and rehabilitation? Now, the Dutch Olympic Committee, it's down to them, nothing to do with the IOC. I think the Olympic umbrella would come and make a decision on this, but they've allowed the individual association, that's what they always do, to make their own decision. The Dutch clearly think there's no case to answer in so much as they think he has now done what he has to do. I'll give you a couple of quotes. He's met all the qualification criteria, whatever that means, following an intensive, professionally supervised trajectory. I'll just take you back 10 years. Do you remember the footballer Ched Evans, who was accused of rape and eventually acquitted completely? When he was looking to come back after he came out of prison, before he was found not guilty, the Football League said they took the same stance as the Dutch Olympic Committee. They said, we are not going to intervene here. They recognize the gravity of what he's done, but they value reintegration and rehabilitation, and they allowed clubs to employ him if they wanted. But as you remember, there was a massive outcry and a lot of people got very upset at the prospect of him coming back into football. But of course, he had the last word because he was found not guilty completely.
Now, this individual was sentenced to 4 years in prison, only served 12 months of that. At the time, the judge sentencing him said, your hopes of representing your country now lie as a shattered dream. That hasn't happened. He will represent the country. The next point is this, Chris. Every Olympian has to sign a document. It's called the Athletes' Rights and Responsibilities Declaration. And point 7 demands that they act as a role model. How can a convicted rapist be a role model?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you look at the Olympic ideal, which has been around since 1894. I won't give you it in Latin, but it's basically faster, higher, stronger. A couple of years ago, it was updated to be modernized to include the words together, faster, higher, stronger, together. That to me has morality in it, educational issues as well, and you'd have to say, yeah, that that doesn't really fit the Olympic ideal, does it? It was created 19th century by a guy who was a misogynist, Pierre de Coubertin. He didn't want women in the Olympics to start with, but it has been modernized now. So, and when you consider that, the IOC have banned Russia from the upcoming Olympic Games, apart from the Ukraine war, of course, their drug problems of the past. But what they're doing, they're allowing some Russians to take part if they can vet them and allow them to compete individually. So where's the difference there? They're allowing some Russians to come in.
Okay, Chris, I'm afraid we've simply run out of time. We have to leave it there.
We have to leave it there, Chris. And Chris brings up a good point, by the way, about the Russian team being banned. The Russians, well, obviously on the outs with the international community at large, but I think it was Beijing or the couple Olympics ago, some of the Russian athletes were accused or credibly accused of doping. And, allegedly that's a no-no in the Olympics. But, hey, convicted of child rapist, hey, come on in. You going to carry the torch for the Netherlands at the Olympics opening ceremony? Steven van der Sloot. There's 2 standards, everybody. There are 2 standards. Actually, there's probably more like 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 standards, because as we saw at the presidential debate, no matter the qualifications or the cognitive ability, if you have a privileged white man, even if he's mediocre and unqualified, he will be given all the deference and the respect of the most qualified person or people in the room, right? The most powerful, the most people that you defer to the most, as Mr. President, Mr. Former President. And even though this white man, this Dutch Olympian, was told at his sentencing, where he was sentenced to 4 years, and if you heard in the report there, only did 12 months, just to go to show you that no one across the globe takes sexual violence seriously, let alone sexual violence against children. What I tell y'all, that's just, that's just for 12-year-old survivors of sexual assault. Hey, them's growing pains, right? That's just breaks. That's just the way of life. That's just what you have to go through as a child on this planet sometimes. When they say that he has met all the rules and exceptions and standards, I think that even if he was able to meet those rules and exceptions and standards, it's because he had the most help. When we talk about people, especially in this country, especially Black people, especially Black men, when they come out of prison, they usually do not have access to resources. They sometimes they don't have access to stable housing when they immediately come out because of their records. It is difficult for them to obtain employment, for them to enroll in school. Like, there are a myriad of challenges that Black folks who are formerly incarcerated face immediately upon hitting the street. But this guy gets convicted of a violent crime and has the yellow brick road laid out for him in order to make sure that he does not reoffend and that he can succeed in his chosen profession, which is professional beach volleyball in the Netherlands. And he's allowed to do that. He's allowed to pursue his dreams, to complete and achieve his dreams. He's going to the Olympics, everybody. That child sex conviction did not keep him off the Olympic team. And this is why I tell you guys that cancel culture is nothing. It does not mean anything. When we look at what people supposedly get canceled over, when we run down that list of folks that have committed the offense of sexual abuse or domestic violence or this, that, and the third, it's a farce. It doesn't apply because there aren't really societal consequences for harming women and children, right? Women and children are more vulnerable than men. So therefore, ergo, the shit rolls downhill. Women and children should expect harm from men because they're bigger, stronger with most of the power in the society. So, but my point is, y'all are like, well, Kim, that's not true. So and so gets sent to jail. I hear what you're saying, but for the folks that maybe get tried, even less likely to obtain a conviction, this guy was tried, convicted, and look at his sentence. Nothing, a slap on the wrist. No one takes sexual violence against children seriously or against women seriously for that matter. And when I think about what Sha'Carri Richardson has gone through, right? Sha'Carri has made the Olympic team for Paris, but she had to wait 4 years. At the Olympic trials in 2020, she was disqualified because she had THC in her system. Why does she have THC in her system? Well, she hit a little weed because she just found out that her biological mother had passed away. And she was banned. She was precluded from joining the Olympic team in Tokyo. I'm also thinking about Caster Semenya, the South African sprinter, who was not allowed to participate in some of her best events in track and field in 2020 because the IOC refused to let her compete because she did not want to submit to hormone testing. Or rather, she was told that her level of testosterone was not, quote, normal for a woman. Therefore, I think they suspected her of being trans. I'm not exactly sure what the accusation was against Caster Semenya, but she was wrongfully excluded from competing. Both Black women, right? and they didn't commit no crimes. You know what I'm saying? They didn't hurt no fucking body. They didn't do anything that would enhance their performance, right? I'm standing by Caster Semenya. I know she wasn't, I don't know, but I am willing to venture she was not taking any performance enhancing drugs. And if she did have different levels of testosterone in her system, every human body is different. Everybody's body has different levels of every fucking thing, right? No one questioned Michael Phelps, who is shaped like a dolphin, right? Like nobody said, oh, well, Michael Phelps' arms are 7 inches longer than the average swimmer's arms. So therefore he can take longer strokes. So therefore his physiology is default unfair to other competitors because his body is shaped different that allows him to perform better, right? That's what happened with Caster Semenya, but no one saw it that way. They said, "Oh, Black woman, we can't. We have questions. Oh, you want to guard your privacy? Oh, well, then you can't compete." Sha'Carri Richardson, oh, you were experiencing emotional trauma. You ingested a substance that the last time I checked, THC does not help track stars. Okay, like. It's amazing that fucking Sha'Carri was able to run the motherfucking 100 in 9 goddamn seconds, 10 fucking seconds after hitting the goddamn Swisher Sweet. If anything, she needs to be put on the team for being extraordinary, for being a goddamn superhero. Imagine a weed smoking track star, dusting niggas. Oh, incredible. Actually, she needs a medal for that. But the ways in which exceptional Black people, we're using the athletic realm in this instance, the ways in which exceptional Black people will be, especially women, will be precluded and not allowed from literally the opportunities of a lifetime. Okay, for all Olympic athletes, usually the window is relatively small. Okay, of course, and we're seeing Black athletes like Simone Biles, just destroy that all the way because she is Simone Biles and she's amazing. But not everybody is Simone Biles. Most Olympic athletes got to hit that window, that 18 to 26 year old. And when you're forced to wait 4 years, that can absolutely throw off the entire trajectory of what the potential of your athletic career could have been, at least on the Olympic front. So it's amazing that this white man, Mr. Steven Van der Sloot, they didn't let that happen to him. And that's why I want you guys to know. Anytime you guys hear something about, well, I don't want to say XYZ because I might get canceled. No. Now, if you're a black woman, you might get canceled. So, yeah, you might want to think twice. See, me, I've been canceled. So I don't give a fuck. Dog, I'm going to say anything that I want to say because I cannot be canceled more. Well, that's a lie. I guess YouTube could exercise its full whole option and and absolutely cancel me more. Let's hope that they don't do that. But you understand what I'm saying. So, example number 4080 that there is no cancel culture. And y'all be sure to watch that Dutch volleyball team and keep an eye out for the convicted child rapist who's going to be representing his country, which sounds fully appropriate for the Netherlands.